Righty-ho. Introduction to New Product Development and NPD. You'll do much more of this in the Semester 2 module, Food Product Development. This is a general introduction covering a range of potentially examinable issues, particularly the management of food product development projects, often by the stage gate process. Note that these processes are potentially transferable to many other product development situations, including for public health. This is a summary of the reasons for product development, some of which we've already discussed, for example, novel product developments and line extensions. We'll look at other issues such as new packaging later in the module. If you want to have a read of this and you're watching the video, just pause the video. I'll assume you've done that. I haven't. Okay, so 3 acronyms. Just a summary of the commonly used acronyms. One that's new is, the way I've mentioned it, is existing product development. So that's like extending the line, for example. Just get them out of the way. Okay, most new products fail. The professional approach is to root out products that are unlikely to succeed early in the process, and the food industry is pretty good at that now. Click on the food dive link here on that for a review of 6 of the worst product failures in the food and beverage industry's history. It's an American focus thing, so it perhaps misses out a few we could have included. Can you think of any others? The obvious one there is a green tomato ketchup, which tomato ketchup isn't green. Nobody bought that. We'll have a look at some of the others in the next couple of slides. Tropicana. This is a classic and entirely self-inflicted by the company. They changed the packaging, and after they'd done this, customers found it harder to find Tropicana on the supermarket shelves, and sales plummeted by 20% in the space of 2 months. So they rapidly reverted back to the packaging that had Tropicana in big letters on the cover and horizontal rather than vertical. This is an overcomplicated solution to a problem that didn't exist, and it was short-lived. You get this package of coffee, you pour it in a cup, you microwave it, and then you drink it. Most people find it quicker simply to boil a kettle, and more convenient. It's easier probably to use a kettle than a microwave certainly to boil up a cup of coffee. So a problem doesn't exist. On the other hand, there are a wide range of innovative coffee products on the market, but all focus on coffee that is drunk cold at room temperature. Cold brew coffee is what it suggests. Coffee brewed with cold water, typically for up to a day. This is often claimed to be lower in bitterness components than caffeine, although the evidence is very contradictory. We've done some work on this, and it does vary a lot depending on how long you brew the coffee and how strong it is. The Grady's cold brew coffee is exceptionally good, though very, very hard to find in this country. Okay, so there's an image here of why things fail, and the main reason identified here, relying too much on claimed health benefits, is interesting. We often assume that products that have claimed health benefits will be successful. That isn't always the case. Examples perhaps include yogurts with added fish oil. Omega fats are a good thing, but consumers were unimpressed by these products. If you want to go more, click on the food processing link for information. This is an old study by Cooper, who is all over the place in this area. The study is widely suited. It's from a book, so I can't link to it. The food product industry has become better at developing new products then. Just look at the supermarket shelves. This is the golden age of NPD. We'll come back to Cooper a couple of times later on in this. We will note Cooper's main reason for failure: lack of marketing analysis. You can read the others in your own time. Market analysis, hence the focus on marketing and gap analysis in the assignments. You need to know your market. This is one reason why NPD was less successful in the past. Individual departments simply didn't work together. They went to their own offices, they did their own thing, and eventually wondered why things didn't work. This is the modern approach. Multidisciplinary teams, a graduate level skill with high levels of communication, again a graduate level of skill. Notice also the involvement of vendors and customers. These are often the supermarket chains, of course, in the NPD process. But there could be, chains of health food shops or gyms or whatever, or sales into hospitals, sales into universities. lots of places where these days the customers are involved in the new product development process. So here's a new word, protocept. It was a new word for me anyway when I first came across it. It's an early conception of a product usually developed in a lab or in our case a development kitchen. While reviewing the lecture, I came across this recent paper from Cooper, and it's well worth a read. It's linked here, and I'll also post a copy in Blackboard. Yeah, so here's a former TU student protocepting away. It's done in a lab and kitchen by an experienced chef. It's not designed for manufacturers, I'm sure you're aware. Kitchen development, cooking food in the kitchen is different from cooking food on a much larger scale. So it doesn't really necessarily address technical feasibility at this stage. Here's a review of the general product development process and all the things you would need to do. And you'll certainly again be looking at this next semester rather, in your product development. In reality, the process is more iterative than is implied by this linear representation. Okay, so we've got our protocept. If it's accepted for development, we'll talk about this very soon, it moves into pilot plant trial scales and is now referred to as a prototype. Okay, so the final product, we can only hope. Moving on. Yeah, so the stage gate management process is a key management system for new product development and is very important in the food industry. And as I implied earlier on, I think people developing products in other areas could learn a lot from this. The stage gate model is a technique applied to new product development projects that serves to create more value. Its strength is it genuinely improves an organisation's ability to convert innovative ideas into practical applications in new products using a roadmap comprising various deliverables, or stages as they're called here. This was developed by that Cooper chap. The innovation process is broken down into 5 major phases, each of these phases or stages being preceded by a gate, making 4 gates in total. These gates are intermediate management ratification steps, waypoints which must be passed to either start the following stage or to kill the project. But notice there first there is the discovery or ideation stage, where new ideas are brainstormed, something which you have done of course. This is why the stage gate is so important and successful. It takes a progressive approach, and increased costs and staff involvement is only actioned after decisions at several important points in the process. This saves money and increases the chance of successful and economically viable product development. So the discovery stage, this is essentially what you did in proposing product ideas for the gap analysis. Open the paper here for more background reading in this in general. You then moved into market, that is to say gap analysis. We've done quite a lot of that. The next steps will be look at product feasibility. We're not going to do that here. You'll look at this probably in, as I say, in the new product development module. So product feasibility, can your business actually make it? Is it appropriate for you to make it? And then developing a clear product definition for everyone in the team. Again, the gate is a stop or go decision for the product. So as we move into stage 3 and look at stage 2 and look at gate 3, more resources are being invested in the product development now. Looking at the issues outlined here. Again, a decision whether to stop the process will be made after this analysis. In stage 3, customers, as mentioned, often supermarket buyers are more involved. The food company may start developing plans for plant scale production, and testers from outside the organisation may be brought in to access the products. This will be likely done on the basis of consumer tests rather than tests done with trained sensory analysts. We need to know whether consumers will like the product. Again, a decision whether to stop or proceed will be made after this analysis. So we're moving on, and significant resources now being put in the project, including potentially buying new equipment for production. We can say the decision here can be more confidently made based on the fact that we've done the earlier stages. We've gone through the feasibility at several appropriate issues and looked at it and said, yes, this looks like it's going to be a good product. We then decide if it's going to be moved to commercial launch. And finally, it goes to market. wherever it's going to be marketed. This isn't the end of the process. The launch is monitored and planning begins for further development, including life cycle planning. One of the characteristics of NPD these days is, although there's a lot of new products in the market, their life cycle tends to be very short. You should have a look at Quan's product range and how that's developed over the years. There's good examples of that. This is the stage gate process for a very successful company with a significant local presence, Glanbia, with a wide range of innovative products, and we have many of our food graduates working for them. So if you're interested in Glanbia, have a click there. One of the senior people at the company who's a former student is developing some materials for us to have a look at a little bit later in the module. Okay, so just a quick review, just summarising what I've said. You can stop the video and have a watch of this. You're watching the video. I'm not going to belabour it. Okay, that's all for now, folks. Thanks for listening.